X-wing pilot at sea. Ello Asty is a skilled, if occasionally reckless X-wing starfighter pilot for the Resistance. He flew with Red Squadron during the Battle of Starkiller Base, but was shot down trying to destroy the superweapon. His call sign was Red 6. Hello, welcome back to Centurion's Corner, and today we're reviewing X-wing pilot at sea. So, yeah, this guy is a little background character, and I couldn't wait to actually unlock this character because I have something for the background characters in Star Wars. I absolutely love them, you know, from Hammerhead to the sort of background sort of pilots and all that. And this is a big thing that I've noticed with Black Series, is that everyone really is, it's either like a trooper or like an army builder for the baddies, or it's kind of like a main character for the goodies. There's not a lot of these sort of characters that you get for in the background. You know, the old Kenner line definitely originated all those sort of characters and broadened your sort of aspect of creating an environment for your toys to be in. And Black Series is as good as it is. There's not a lot of these sort of characters out there, and to be honest, I think this guy is probably about the only one that's kind of like a background character that's in the Black Series. I might be wrong, you know, I've only just started getting into it, but yeah, I'm sure this guy is like literally just probably the only one that's out there. He has a few scenes in Force Awakens, you know, he's in the X-wing or he's just walking past, but yeah, I mean, as soon as I saw there was a figure of this guy, I just had to get him. Yeah, there's something about him that I love him. So here he is. He's got his little pencil drawing down here. Not too sure what species he is, so when I go away for the review, I'll have a look and look up on what he is. But yeah, it's just a simple box. There he is holding his helmet, and he comes with a little blaster pistol down there. One side we've got the window with his at sea written on the side. He's number 14. And his bio and a picture on the back. And my partner got this for me from Comic Con up in London. I think she paid £15 for him, so it's not too bad for a Black Series figure, and it was definitely one that it was literally high on my list to get. So without further ado, let's crack this bad boy open. Well, here he is in his blister pack. So there's no hidden accessories or anything. What you see is what you get. And he looks pretty cool. So we'll get him out, have a first little dibs at him, and then I'll take him off for a review, take some pictures which I'll show at the end of the video, and go from there. Yeah. He's pretty cool. I always like the pilots, and I like the X-wing flight suit and stuff like that. Most of my Lego collection is actually made out of all the ships and the Rogue Squadron and all that. So this guy's right up my street. So I'll take little Atsy away now. We'll go and have some pictures taken, and I'll be back in a mo. Well, welcome back. So we've been away, we've taken some photos, and yeah, do you know what? He's not a bad figure. He kind of just suffers with those sort of early kind of Black Series kind of sort of fads that they had. Mostly in his articulation really. But yeah, we'll go through there. We'll start off with his accessories. then go into his posability, and then over his sculpt. So he comes with 2 accessories, one being his helmet. And yeah, it's quite nice. Got quite a lot of details and all that stuff on there. I haven't checked up on this to see what it says, but yeah, it's got everything on there. It's got the markings, yellow lines, more marking parts on his back, the lines and these little V's. That's reminiscence of the original sort of Rogue Squadron guys. And yeah, the colour's all very nice. And the we've got transparent goggles. There's nothing inside. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it's got the old sort of like a rebel sign on there as well. So this just fits on his head. It's quite a nice little fit as well. Nothing too hard or anything on there. It's kind of made of this sort of like soft plastic as well, so it's quite pliable to put on his head. So you're not really going to scuff any sort of paint or anything off there. But yeah, it's not too bad. Well, his other accessory he comes with is obviously his blaster, and yeah, it's just a nice little kind of resistance blaster pistol, kind of made in this sort of goldy kind of plastic colour with a bit of silver applicants on there. And I'm not too sure if that's just like supposed to be weathering on the handle, or it's just a case that there's a bit sort of the paint's either rubbed off or it just hasn't set properly on the gun. But I mean, you can see it, it's all in these little parts here as well, so I think it's supposed to be weathering. I think it's just sort of like had a bit of a bad factory run with a bit of splatting coming out. So there is accessories, and then we just go over his articulation now. So we'll start with his head first. We'll take his hat off because it doesn't hinder anything. So his head, he can't really look up, just sort of bounces back. There's no kind of sort of thing on it, even though he's got like there's a disc joint in there. There's no form or anything of doing that, and there's no look down either because of the collar. So he can look left and right. His arms comes up. It's got a rotation at the shoulder. It's got a rotation at the elbow, but the actual elbow joint is naff. It literally, this is all you got. That's it, out of his joint. I wanted to decide it the wrong way around, but no, the ribbon's on that side, and it's literally just there. And I don't know whether it's part of the sculpt on this bit up here. It's a bit too baggy over the elbow, and then this bit just doesn't want to come up at all. So yeah, it's not even 90 degrees. It's just, that's it. So yeah, any sort of gun posing or anything like that, that's kind of where he sort of fell, or fails a little bit really. A bit similar to the first order troopers that come out at that time. So he's got rotation at his wrist, which is on the hinge, and he's got this sort of nice open sort of palm as well. The other hand is also on the same hinge. It goes inwards, and he's got his closed hand for his gun that I didn't actually show off. So here it is. We just put that in there, and he's got a little trigger finger, and he fits in his hand just nicely. So at the top, again, he's got no crunch. Well, I suppose he's got a tiny bit, if you want to call it a crunch. It goes back about that much, but it's mainly there for rotation. But again, he can't move too much because of his hose is connected to his pocket. So that's as far as he can go to his right, and he can go that far to his left. The harness doesn't hinder his articulation at all, but he's got an upper thigh swivel, but obviously that gets hindered by his hose. He's got a double jointed knee, and he's got like a kind of like a rocker and a slight pivot. It sort of more rotates than anything. And yeah, so that's kind of where he fails, unfortunately, is on his posability. It's not exactly the kind of the best thing you got going there for him, which is unfortunate. But his sculpt and his paint apps is pretty good, so that kind of gives him back up to his kudos. So here he is. Here's his little face, and his species is a Bedinido. I might be butchering that, but yeah, I don't know if these guys have appeared in the back of any of the other Star Wars films, but I've never seen them before. But here he is. I think it's his nostrils on the side going down to his mouth, and he's got kind of sort of like a skin tone kind of sort of weathering over his face, and obviously his eyes are not all that great, but you know, they're very small. They're a lot smaller than it looks like normal eyes as well, but yeah, they're not too bad. And the back of his head is just basically, he's got a few wrinkles. Looks a bit like a bald walrus on the back. So you got the ribbon around on his X-wing suit, which comes down onto his kind of sort of like padded jacket, and just all over his sculpt as well. You've got these sort of like very sort of like fine nylon kind of parts there, which, to be honest, if I weren't doing this review, I would have just thought it was like a plain orange, but no, it's definitely there. And yeah, he's got the ribbon on down his arm. Again, it's, you know, it's very similar to the old X-wing suits. You've got a black glove, same on that side, and on the back, just more the ribbon of the X-wing fly suit. Little pouch there. You know, it's all sculpted and all that. He's got his little kind of oxygen box or whatever these are, which goes down into this sort of like flexible hose, goes to his pocket. It's kind of nice to see like these go off somewhere, but sometimes they're just attached and they just go somewhere. And yeah, he's got his vinyl sort of like holster belt kind of harness, and his holster for his gun, and then more orange going down to these belts, and again reminiscence of the old X-wing flight suit, and down to his shoes where he's got little velcro ones. So yeah, I mean, that's him. That's his sort of sculpt and his posability and all that. So am I still happy to have him in my collection? Absolutely love this guy, and I just think like these background guides need more of a shout out. You know, I know we have ones like the bounty hunters. I know they're only in it for 5 seconds and whatnot, but we need more of these characters in Black Series. It just sort of like emphasises, you know, like the world of Star Wars, and everyone's got sort of favourites that they've seen in the back of Jabba's palace and stuff. So we kind of need more of these guys. And yeah, I mean, articulation wise and taking photos, you know, he's going to be a bit of a background guy for the guys that like taking their toys out into the wild and taking pictures, because, you know, he's just not got that posability there for dynamic poses. But as an action figure, yeah, I mean, he's good. He's good there to have there. One in your collection. Obviously, if you're going to be a completionist, as I always say, you're going to get him. But for the guys that just sort of like collect regularly and you want him on the shelf, I mean, I would get that anyway, because I'm an X-wing pilot fan. I love all these sort of flight suits and everything that goes with them, and the removable helmets. I always have a thing for removable helmets. I don't know why, but I would get him, and I would get him if you could get him for a bit cheaper than 20 quid, or never pay over £20 of his asking price. That's my final outcome on him. So guys, that's my review of Ello Asty, and thank you for coming along. Comment down below, like the video, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, link is in the description, and I'll see you next time. Bye.